So you're sitting here, beaten, battered, wondering why they hate you so much, wondering why the people you once called your friends, or worse, family, are the same ones sharpening knives behind your back. You're asking yourself, what did I do? Wrong? Wrong? Let me tell you something. You didn't do a damn thing wrong. You just refused to play their little game. And that's unforgivable in their twisted world. They wanted you crawling on the ground, begging for scraps, becoming just like them, small, petty, bitter. But you didn't, did you? No, no, no. You stood tall. You walked your path, and you didn't stoop to their filthy little level. And now, now they're angry, furious. Why? Because your very existence reminds them of their own mediocrity. You see people like that? They need others to validate their pathetic little excuses for lives they live in the dirt, and they want company. Misery loves it, they say. But it's more than that. Misery doesn't just love company. It thrives on dragging others down. It survives by convincing you that their way, the low road, is the only road. But you didn't fall for it. Oh no. You chose something else. You chose you. And that's the ultimate betrayal in their eyes, isn't it? You chose to rise while they chose to rot. Let me explain something about people like them. They're like vultures circling above, waiting for a weak moment they'll watch you stumble and laugh. But the second you stand up, the second you fight back, they panic. Because now you're not just surviving, you're thriving. And there's nothing they hate more than someone who proves them wrong. You see, they've spent their entire lives building this little world where failure is normal, where being average is acceptable, where dreams are just things to mock. They built this house of cards, and when you walked by with your head held high, you shook the damn table and, oh, they're pissed, aren't they? Because your strength, your resilience, your refusal to settle, it's an insult to their entire existence. Look, I know what you're thinking, but Joker, I didn't mean to hurt them. Of course you didn't. That's the beauty of it. You didn't have to do a thing. Your success, your refusal to sink, was enough to show them the mirrors they'd been avoiding their whole lives. You forced them to see their own failures, their own cowardice, their own pathetic little compromises. Let me give you an example. Ever seen how rats behave in a cage? You throw in a piece of food and watch what happens. They'll fight, they'll claw, they'll tear each other apart for scraps. But then there's that one rat, the one that figures out how to climb the damn cage. Oh, the others hate that rat. They'll screech, they'll claw at it. They'll do everything they can to pull it back down, because it's easier to destroy something extraordinary than to admit that they've wasted their lives in the gutter. You're that rat, the one that climbed, the one that made them realize they could have done more but didn't. And that realization, it burns. It eats them alive. Let's talk about anger. Shall we? Their anger? It's not about you, not really. It's about what you represent. You're a walking reminder that they could have been more, but they chose less. And instead of fixing themselves, instead of looking in the mirror and saying, I can do better, they'd rather hate you. It's easier to tear you down than to build themselves up. And the best part, the very best part, they'll never admit it. Oh no. They'll dress it up in excuses. You're arrogant. You think you're better than us. You've changed. Ha, changed. Of course you've changed. You grew. You evolved. But to them, growth looks like betrayal. Because it means you're no longer willing to sit in their little circle of mediocrity, pretending everything's fine when it's not. Listen to me. The world is full of people like that. People who will smile to your face and spit venom the second you turn your back. They'll pretend to cheer for you, but secretly they're praying for your downfall. Why? Because your success shines a light on their failures, and they can't handle the glare. But here's the thing. Their hate, their anger, it's not your problem. It's theirs. Let them choke on it. Let it fuel them if they want. But you keep going. You don't stop. You don't look back. You don't lower yourself to their level, just to make them feel comfortable. Here's a little secret they want you to fail. Oh, they'll never say it out loud. They'll dress it up as concern. Are you sure you can handle this? Maybe you're aiming too high, but deep down, they're hoping you'll stumble, hoping you'll fall. Because your failure makes them feel better about their own, but you're not going to give them that satisfaction. Are you? No. You're going to rise higher and higher, until their whispers turn to silence, until their jealousy eats them alive, until the only thing they can do is watch as you soar far beyond their reach. And when that day comes, and it will come, don't you dare look down. Don't you dare stop to explain yourself. You don't owe them anything. Not your time, not your energy, not your success. They didn't help you climb, so they sure as hell don't deserve a piece of the view. Let them stay angry. Let them stew in their bitterness. Because at the end of the day, their anger is just proof that you're doing something right. Proof that you're living, thriving, succeeding. Proof that you refuse to lower yourself to their level. So stand up, hold your head high, walk through the fire they throw at you, and come out the other side, stronger, sharper, unbreakable. And when they try to pull you back down, and they will try, just smile. Smile. Because you know the truth. They're not mad at you. They're mad at themselves. Mad that you did what they couldn't. Mad that you had the courage they never found. Mad that you're everything they'll never be. And that's their burden to bear, not yours. And they'll stay exactly where they are, angry, bitter, and forgotten. You think it's over, don't you? You think they'll give up once they've had their tantrum? No. See, the thing about people like this, they're persistent in all the wrong ways. Their hate is like a weed. It spreads, it festers, it takes root in every part of their hollow little lives, and they'll keep coming. Why? Because tearing you down has become their purpose, their reason for waking up every day. Why do you think they gossip behind your back? Why do you think they gather in their little circles, whispering your name like it's a curse because you're living rent-free in their heads? Baby, every move you make, every step you take towards something bigger, something better, it kills them a little more. Inside. And here's the real kicker. They'll never admit it. Never. They'll lie to themselves, tell themselves, it's not jealousy, it's not bitterness. No. No. They're just being honest, right? Just keeping it real. But deep down in the part of their souls they won't even look at, they know the truth. You're everything they wish they could be, and it's eating them alive. Let me give you another example. Picture a field of crabs in a bucket. Ever seen? What happens when one crab tries to climb out? The others grab it. They pull it back down, clawing and fighting to keep it in the same miserable hole they're stuck in, not because they hate that crab. Oh no, it's not personal. It's instinct. They can't imagine a world where someone escapes, where someone rises above people. They're no different. The second they see you climbing out of the bucket, they panic. They'll do everything they can to pull you back in. Not with claws. No, with words, with doubts, with manipulation. They'll say things like, "You're getting too big for your britches," or "Don't forget where you came from." Translation: how dare you believe you're better than this? But let me tell you something. You are better than this. Better than them. And no, that's not arrogance. That's truth. You want to know why they hate you, why their anger grows every time you succeed. Because your success shines a spotlight on their failures. You're a walking, talking reminder of what they could have been, but chose not to be. Every time you rise, you force them to confront their own choices, their laziness, their fear, their excuses. You see, people don't hate you for what you did to them. They hate you for what you didn't do. You didn't join their pity party. You didn't wallow in the same mud. You didn't accept the chains they tried to wrap around you, and that's unforgivable in their eyes. Let's talk about their tactics, shall we? Oh, they're clever. They won't come at you directly. No, that'd be too obvious, too easy to spot. Instead, they'll plant little seeds of doubt, little whispers, little lies. Do you really think you're good enough? What makes you so special? You'll never make it without us? It's not just words. It's poison designed to seep into your mind, to make you question yourself, to make you hesitate. Because hesitation, that's how they win. The moment you start doubting, the moment you start looking back, that's when they strike. But here's the thing. You're smarter than that. You've already proven it by getting this far. So don't let their poison touch you. Let their words bounce off like bullets off armor. Because that's what you are now. Armored. Hardened by every betrayal. Every lie. Every backstab. And don't think for a second that they'll stop if you fail. Oh no. Failure isn't the end for them. It's just another opportunity to pile on, to kick you while you're down to dance on your grave. They'll laugh. They'll celebrate. They'll pretend it's about justice or karma, but really it's relief. Relief that you're not the shining star anymore. That they don't have to see themselves reflected in your light, but you're not going to fail, are you? Because failure isn't an option anymore. Not for someone like you. Not for someone who's tasted what it's like to rise above the filth. Who's seen the world beyond the bucket. Let me tell you what happens next. When you keep going, when you refuse to break, they'll switch tactics. They'll try to join you. Oh yes, the same people who mocked you, who doubted you, who prayed for your downfall, will suddenly want to be your friends again. They'll come with smiles and open arms, saying things like, "We always believed in you," or "We knew you had it in." You don't fall for it. It's a trap. They don't want to celebrate your success. They want to leech off it. They want to be close enough to claim credit, but far enough to avoid responsibility. And you'll let them starve because you know better now. You know who they are, what they're capable of, and you know that the only thing they deserve is to watch you from a distance, powerless as you saw. We're higher than they ever dreamed. Here's the truth, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. You're alone in this, truly, completely alone. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to hold your hand. The people you thought you could count on, they're the first ones to leave when things get tough. And that's okay, because you don't need them. You don't need anyone. You're stronger than that. Stronger than they'll ever understand. And that's what scares them the most. The fact that you don't need their approval, their validation, their fake smiles. The fact that you're perfectly fine walking this path on your own, no matter how dark, no matter how lonely. Let them be angry. Let them whisper. Let them plot. Let them see their anger is their own prison, and they'll rot in it. But you'll keep moving, keep climbing, keep proving not to them, but to yourself, that you're worth it, that you're enough, that you're more than they'll ever comprehend. Because at the end of the day, their anger means nothing. It's just noise, and you're the storm that drowns it out. You're better than them. Always have been. Always will be. So don't you dare lower yourself to their level. Let them wallow in the dirt while you touch the sky. Let them hate you. Let them burn. Because in the end, their anger will consume them, not you. And when they're nothing but ashes, you'll still be standing unshaken, unstoppable, unbreakable. You see the truth about people like us. We don't fit into their little boxes. We don't follow their rules, their traditions, their tired old games. And that scares them. Oh, it terrifies them. Because their whole world is built on control. Control over what you think, what you feel, what you do. They want you predictable, manageable, easy to manipulate. But you shattered that illusion the moment you decided to be different. And now they don't know what to do with you. So they hate you. They fear you. They lash out like cornered animals because you represent everything they can't control. Do you ever notice how the world treats outliers? The ones who think differently, act differently, live differently. They're mocked, ridiculed, cast out. Why? Because difference is dangerous. It challenges the status quo. It forces people to confront their own limitations. And let me tell you something. Most people would rather live in comfortable lies than face uncomfortable truths. You're the truth. The living, breathing proof that their way isn't the only way. That their limits aren't universal. and they hate you for it. Let me break it down for you. Imagine a forest, a vast, endless forest of trees, all growing the same way, reaching for the same sky. But then, one day, a single tree grows differently. Maybe it twists, maybe it leans, maybe it reaches further than all the rest. What do you think happens the other trees? Don't cheer it on. No, they compete. They block its sunlight, strangle its roots, do everything they can to force it back into line. Because in their minds, that one tree's success threatens the entire forest. And maybe it does. Maybe it shows that the others could have grown taller, straighter, stronger, if only they tried. You're that tree, the one that dared to grow differently, and now the forest wants you gone. But here's the thing, you don't need their approval. You don't need their support. You've already proven you can grow without it. So let them hate, let them claw and scratch and fight, because no matter what they do, they can't stop you from reaching higher. You know what really drives them crazy? It's not just that you're succeeding, it's that you're succeeding without them. Oh, that burns. They want to believe they're the center of the universe, that nothing good can happen without their blessing, their involvement, their stamp of approval. But here you are proving them wrong every step of the way. And that's the ultimate insult, because it forces them to confront a truth they've been running from their whole lives. They don't matter, not to you, not to your journey, not to your success. And that truth, it's like acid eating away at their fragile little egos. Let me tell you something about success, real success. It's not about money or power or fame. Those things, they're just distractions. Real success is freedom. Freedom from their opinions, their judgments, their petty little games. Real success is waking up every day and knowing that you don't owe them a damn thing. And that's what you've got, isn't it? Freedom. Oh, they'll never admit it, but that's what they envy most. Not your talent, not your strength, not even your resilience. It's your freedom. The fact that you're not shackled by their expectations, their rules, their approval. The fact that you can walk away without looking back. But don't get comfortable. Don't think for a second that this fight is over, because people like them, they never stop. They'll keep coming, keep plotting, keep trying to drag you down. Why? Because it's all they know. They've spent their whole lives in the dirt, and the idea of someone climbing out terrifies them. It challenges everything they believe about the world, about themselves. So what do? You stay sharp. You stay strong. You keep climbing. No matter how loud they scream. No matter how hard they pull. Because at the end of the day, their hate can't touch you. Not unless you let it. Here's the secret. The thing they'll never understand, their anger is a gift. Oh yes, a gift. Because every time they hate, every time they doubt, every time they whisper your name with venom on their tongues, they're giving you power. They're fueling your fire, sharpening your edge, making you stronger. So take their hate, take it, and use it. Turn it into something they can't ignore, can't dismiss, can't destroy. Because at the end of the day, Their anger isn't about you. It's about them, their failures, their fears, their insecurities. You're just the mirror that reflects it all back at them, and that's their problem, not yours. Let me leave you with this. The world will always try to break you. It'll throw obstacles in your path, send enemies to your door, fill your head with doubts and fears. But you're stronger than all of it. You've already proven that. So keep going, keep fighting, keep rising. And when they try to pull you down, when they try to drown you in their hate, just remember this. You don't owe them anything. Not your time, not your energy, not your success. You owe it to yourself to keep climbing, to keep pushing, to keep proving that you're more than they'll ever understand. Because at the end of the day, their anger is just noise, and you're the storm that drowns it out. Still hear good. It means there's still fight left in you, and trust me, you're going to need every ounce of it, because the path you're walking, it's not for the faint of heart. It's lonely, brutal, and unforgiving. But you already knew that, didn't you? You felt it. The cold stares, the sharp whispers, the weight of their envy pressing down on you like chains. They want you to stop. They need you to stop, because every step you take forward reminds them of the miles they've refused to walk. But here's the truth. No one never tells you the hate you face is the greatest compliment you'll ever receive. Hate, my friend, is just admiration twisted by fear. Fear of what you are. Fear of what you could become. Fear of what they'll never be. Let that sink in for a moment. Think about it. If you were insignificant, they wouldn't care. If you were just another face in the crowd, they'd pass you by without a second glance. But you're not. You're a threat. A reminder that their excuses are just that, excuses. They see you, and they know deep down that they could have tried harder, could have been braver, could have been more. But they didn't. And now, they have to live with the reality that you're everything they're too afraid to be. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a battlefield scarred and smoking. The soldiers who stand tall, who push forward, who charge into the fire. They're the ones who face the most resistance. Why? Because they're the ones closest to victory. The cowards, they hide in the trenches, watching, waiting, hoping someone else will do the work. That's who they are. Cowards. And you're the soldier on the front lines. The one they secretly envy, but will never admit to respecting. Oh, they'll disguise their fear as something else, won't they? They'll call you arrogant. Say yourself. Selfish, cold, disconnected. But let's be honest, isn't that just projection? They're not mad because you think highly of yourself. They're mad because you should. Because you've earned it. They hate your confidence because it exposes their insecurity. They hate your ambition because it makes their complacency unbearable. It's easier for them to tear you down than to build themselves up. That's the simple truth. And the funny thing is, they don't even realize it. They think they're justified. They think they're the heroes of this story, and you're the villain. Isn't that hilarious? You're out here fighting to survive, to grow, to become something more, and they're painting you as the bad guy for refusing to stay small. Let me tell you what's going to happen next. The more you rise, the more they'll fall apart. At first, it'll just be whispers, snide comments, passive-aggressive remarks, the kind of petty nonsense that's easy to ignore. But then it'll escalate. They'll band together, form little alliances, all with one goal in mind: to bring you down. Why? Because unity and hatred is the only kind of unity they know. They can't build anything on their own. But tearing you apart, that's something they can agree on. But here's the thing. They'll fail miserably every single time. Because no matter how hard they try, no matter how loud they scream, they can't change the truth. And the truth is this: you've already won the moment you decided to rise above their nonsense, to focus on your own path, to refuse their poison. You won everything after that. It's just noise. You want to know the best part, the part that really drives them crazy. It's not just that you're winning, it's how you're winning, with grace, with dignity, without stooping to their level. Oh, that burns them up inside. They want you to lash out, to lose control, to validate their hatred by becoming the monster they've painted you to be. But you won't, will you? No, you're smarter than that, stronger than that. Because here's the ultimate irony. The more they hate you, the more they reveal about themselves, their jealousy, their insecurity, their fear. It's all laid bare for the world to see. And you don't have to lift a finger. Their downfall is their own doing. Let me give you another example. You ever see how light works, how it casts shadows? The brighter the light, the darker the shadow. That's you. You're the light, and they're the shadows. They can't exist without you. Their entire identity is tied to hating you, opposing you, trying to pull you down without you. They're nothing, just a bunch of bitter whispers in an empty room. So let them hate. Let them stew in their darkness. Because the brighter you shine, the more irrelevant they become. And one day, one glorious day, they'll realize it. They'll look around and see that their hate hasn't stopped you, hasn't slowed you down, hasn't touched you, and that'll destroy them more than any revenge ever could. Here's the truth. You're not here to make friends. You're not here to be liked, to be accepted, to fit into their little world. You're here to grow, to learn, to conquer. And that's going to upset people. It's going to make them uncomfortable. But that's not your problem. It's theirs. So keep going, keep climbing, keep proving to yourself, and only to yourself, that you're capable of more than they ever imagined. Because at the end of the day, their opinions, their anger, their bitterness, it all means nothing less than nothing. It's just noise, and you're the one making music. You've got two choices. You can let their hate weigh you down, chain you to their level, keep in their pit, or you can use it, turn it into fuel, into fire, into the very thing that propels you forward. Because here's the thing about hate. It's heavy, yes, but it's also powerful. It's raw, untamed energy, and in the right hands, it can change the world. So what's it going to be? Are you going to let them win? Or are you going to rise so high, so far beyond their reach that their hate turns to silence? That's the choice you have to make. And it's not an easy one. But I've got a feeling you already know the answer. Because in the end, it's not about them. It never was. It's about you. What you're willing to fight for. What you're willing to endure. What you're willing to become. So go on. Show them what happens when someone refuses to break. Show them what happens when someone refuses to lower themselves to their level. And when they look up, when they finally see you for what you are, untouchable, unstoppable, undeniable, let them hate, let them burn. Because in the end, their anger is just proof of your greatness, and that's the sweetest victory of all.